anyway, I actually came out to the shop tonight to work on this home light. I've been building it, porting it or whatever. It's kind of been delayed because of other stuff that's been going on. But it's kind of funny. I came out to work on that and I ended up getting into other stuff. I have a 372 clone that, needed to take the chain off and replace it. And then I started putting saws up on my shelves. I was running saws and I was just kind of leaving them sit, and I wasn't putting them up on the shelves, and I kind of took care of all that. And now I got like, 8 or 10 packages sitting here. And I don't remember what all I got. So I'm actually getting ready to go through all these. What the heck did I order? You know what I mean? That's enough about parts. This video was actually to show you some saws, because some of these saws actually have a hidden agenda, and we've never really gone over it because, I don't know, I haven't showed you everything yet. We've been kind of running them and so forth, but they're actually meant for a different purpose. So we're going to kind of go over some of these saws and, kind of explain to you what our actual goal is here coming up. So let me move you. All right, so how's that work? It'll kind of give you a glimpse. I'm going to end up having to scream at the phone probably to get back here, aren't I? But anyway, this is the saw shelf. Yeah, some of these have hidden agendas. Some things I haven't revealed to you. This is the 61. That's done. As far as I'm concerned, that's done. The 395 clone, that's a build we haven't even started yet. In fact, this whole shelf here is all clones right here. All of these. This is my 395. This is my Bellhopper built 372. This is that 372 that you've been seeing. This is one of the hidden agenda saws. There's another 372, and this is my 366 that we now have it on alcohol, but its features actually get to go to nitromethane. In fact, this 372 that you've been seeing, the 372 Pro, the white one here, this is actually meant to go to methanol with an expansion chamber. That's actual agenda for that saw. I'm afraid I might have too much intake timing in it to achieve that. And I guess really the only way to figure that out, if that's true, is to go to the next step. But I've been basically running it to make sure I have all the bugs worked out of it before I do that. And it actually runs well enough in this form that I'm completely fine keeping it on gas. I did not expect it to perform this well. I actually did not at all. I thought I was going to need an expansion chamber and everything to get it closer to its full potential. But here it's running as good as this, and I'm kind of hesitating on whether or not I should do that. So I think what I'm going to do is I might use that carburetor to do the modifications, but basically whenever I do the alcohol conversion, I'll just have 2 carburetors, one for alcohol, one for gas, that I can swap out. I think that's what I'm going to do with this guy. But its actual intention is actually to go to alcohol with an expansion chamber. I just haven't got that for yet. The same with this Partner 5000 up here. Whenever we did the porting on this, both of these saws actually, we got larger squish numbers in them. They're in that 30, 35 thousandth range on both of these saws, if I remember correctly. I think this guy's a little closer to like 27, but I think this one's like 30 or so. But this guy is actually intended to go to a methanol build. I do not plan on taking this guy to nitromethane. I just want to take it to methanol. No expansion chamber or anything, even though I could, which I may change my mind in the future. For now, I just want to take it to a methanol build. That's why I'm running, part of the reason I'm running the big carburetor is because I have a feeling I'm eventually going to take it to nitromethane. You know what I mean? It's a 660 carburetor. I do think I'm going to take it to nitromethane eventually, but for a little while here, I just plan on taking it to methanol. In fact, this is the Parker 5000. This is that 50 with the Parker 5000 top end. I want to race these two, compare them. Like I'm certain this guy back here is going to wipe the floor of this one, but that should flip-flop after I change the fuel. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the way that is. This is my pull-in that I took ninth in at the races. I don't plan on making any changes to this right now. I might take 2 more degrees off the exhaust roof, but that's about it. It'll make it a little more zingy, but should stretch out that horsepower a little further. Right now, well, the dyno run on it was exactly 8 horse for 65cc saw, and I'd like to try to get that up a little bit higher. You know what I mean? But for now, it's perfectly fine as is. That's one of those little tweaks that we can do down the road. You know what I mean? The 385, it's down here. You can't see it. I want to get into it and do some more to it. So that's a 385 that I dynoed at 8.5 horse, and this is 65cc that dynoed at 8. I want to go back into that 385 and see if I get another horse or more out of it. See if I can get it closer to like 10. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the future of the 385. But for now, it's like it's a pretty good like firewood type build, like a hotter firewood type build or something. Definitely feels like a hotter firewood build. She cuts at about 12,000 RPM. Where this guy's cutting closer to like 12.3 to 12.5. And this guy's at like 12.6. So, you know what I mean? I'm going to do more of that 385. I'm just being careful because the top end, those 385 top ends don't, you know what I mean? They're not easy to come by as much anymore, and they're very expensive. So I'm just kind of being careful with it. Other than that, I mean, here's the seals, the 036 that Briscoe built. This is my 046, which if you look closer is a 460. I mean, you'll notice the tank difference and stuff. And I have one of the Z chamber cylinders sitting here. This is the 026. This is my Briscoe 49. There's saws all along the bottom here. Saws up here, you know. But I just thought I'd kind of share with you some of the hidden agenda here. Whenever you see some of my saws get built and you're like, why did he go so extreme with his numbers and stuff? There's a chance it's because my intention is actually to go further and start running it on alcohol or nitromethane or something like that. So just something for you to think about. Like that white one down there, that's a 94 degree exhaust roof. You know what I mean? You know, I put that on alcohol and throw an expansion chamber on it. We're cutting at 12,660 now. It should be closer to 14 grand in the cut, I think. And we have to build, well, basically all this testing I'm doing now is kind of giving me an idea where to build the expansion chamber, because you have to build your expansion chamber for the RPM range of what you're building or whatever, your saw or whatever. So the way it runs now at 12,660, I would not be surprised if it does cut closer to 14 grand. So I'm going to build an expansion chamber that's tuned for that saw to cut best at around 14,000 RPM. Does that make sense? So all this testing leading up to this point is kind of telling me where I need to tune the expansion chamber for it. You know? How would you guys like to see a big bore 372 at 14,000 RPM? Cutting, you know? It should have enough torque to pull a 10 pin, no problem at all. So it should be a really fast saw by the time it's done. And there's going to be a lot of tweaking in the process, you know? What if it ends up trying to spin at 15? Well, then the expansion chamber is wrong for it, and I got to make some changes. You know what I mean? Expansion chambers can be, what would you say, finicky. Not really finicky, tough one to nail just right, if you know what I mean. Because you got to build them to operate in the RPM range of your port work on your machine, on your saw or whatever. So if you don't know what the operating RPM range is, it's hard to say what kind of size of expansion chamber you need or anything. A lot of guys will bolt like dirt bike expansion chambers on. Most of the time that adds a little bit of torque. It makes it sound different, a little louder. You know what I mean? It might add a little torque and stuff, but whenever you properly tune an expansion chamber to an engine that has really good porting, it's like a whole level like you can't even imagine. Now, I think I got the intake a little too long on it. I should have stopped closer to 80 degrees. It's just when I was done machining with it, I forget what it was, 83. So 83 might be a little too long for the expansion chamber. We'll find out. I wish I would have got it to stop closer to 80. Besides that, I think the rest of the numbers are going to check out just fine. You know what I mean? But yeah, some of the hidden agenda here on some of these builds. So if you'd seen other videos where I was talking about that white 372, how I was planning on taking either that or the Dalmar project to the races. I'm actually hoping it to be the Dalmar. I just haven't got into finishing it yet. That's partially because I want to take this 372 to a level or whatever that it wouldn't be legal for the races, I guess. You know what I mean? There are races out there that I could run that saw in. It's just the particular race that I'm building for, you know what I mean, that it would qualify for right now. As soon as I do this other work to it, it wouldn't, you know what I mean, it wouldn't qualify anymore. So, you know, I would like to have that Dalmar project done and running good before I do more to that white 372. That's kind of the future there. But, you know, we got other projects like the tractor. That's a completely unexpected project. It's going to be pretty large. You know, we got to split the tractor in half to fix it. Clutch is out, so I'm thinking we're probably going to do it in the building here just in case it rains. In fact, we're working on putting a date together with a volunteer or two to help you know, split the tractor. The problem is we're on gravel floor, so when we split the tractor, we don't have a way of rolling it on jacks or engine stands or anything like that. So we got to figure out a way to hold each half of the tractor up and roll it away from each other, you know what I mean, without the use of those stands. We may have to build like a wooden table of some sort that each half of the tractor can sit down on, and then I can just kind of hook a come along up or something, or a rope to the tractor or to the pickup truck and pull the halves apart or something. I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure something out for pulling the two halves apart. I don't have chain hoist or anything like that to use, so everything we do is gonna have to be through jacks. And that's gonna happen here in the next couple of weeks. So I actually need to get this shop cleaned up a little more. We got a pile of trash through the middle here. You know, some of that foam, the styrofoam from insulating the shop, I had some left over here, and the boys got into it. And they figured out that it makes a loud pop whenever you break it. So you can imagine how many tiny pieces of foam I got scattered here. They went to town, I'll tell you what. It is a train wreck. You know what I mean? So I gotta clean this mess up some and get ready for the tractor. I got a picnic table sitting over there. We might need to pull that out. Heck, I don't know if we're gonna have to pull the whole bucket assembly off the tractor or if we just need to unbolt it from the rear axle. So the front bracket assembly bolts to the rear axle of the tractor. And I know we have to do that, but that didn't look close enough to see if we're gonna have to completely remove it in order to split it. Because, you know, some of them cross members and stuff might be in our way. I know we're gonna have to disconnect a lot of hydraulic lines. We're gonna have a lot of fluid coming out of that thing that we're gonna have to catch. So we got a big project coming to fix that tractor. I'm actually debating on ordering a clutch assembly for it right now and having it here so that when we split it, we can just work on putting it back together. But I know I have issues in the high-low range, so it's whether or not I might have to order parts for that as well. It's just I'm not 100% certain the clutch assembly needs replaced. They're pretty certain the pressure plate has an issue. Broke it at the pressure plate, which would end up needing replaced. Um, so it wouldn't hurt to have it here. It's a $600 purchase. And I'm like, should I buy it and have it here, split it apart, and find out that we really didn't need it? It's one of those things. Or should I wait until it's split before I order the parts? You know? Because if I have the parts here, and we end up getting the thing apart in like 3 hours, we might just be able to go ahead and fix it and throw it back together. So, I don't know. I'm probably going to order a clutch assembly and try to have it here for whenever we split the tractor. Probably. I just want to, I don't know. Do you think the pressure plate broke? Do you think the issue's in the pressure plate? I mean, I'm thinking it is. You can still push the clutch. You can still feel the tension of the clutch and everything, but it does nothing. It's not like falling freely, like there's no linkage attached. It's not like that. You can still push the clutch. It still feels like normal. It just doesn't actually do anything. And it is a 2-stage clutch, by the way, so I should probably order a book for it too. They want $89 for the freaking book on that tractor. Can you believe that? I guess, you know, be $700 just till I get the book here and the clutch assembly. But it comes with the territory, you know. It's one of those things, once it's fixed, I should never have another issue with it. And once I have the book here, I could potentially rebuild the whole freaking tractor, have part numbers and everything ready to go. You know what I mean? And keep that thing going for a long time. It's just when I split it, I want to make sure we don't put it back together until everything in there is 100%. You know what I mean? None of the gears seem to have any issues. Just the high of the range, you put it in the high and it just pops right back out. So we could have something as simple as a bent fork, or it could be the gear is rounded off and might need to replace gears. You know what I mean? There's a lot that could cause that. But in the clutch, you know, what's going to need replaced there? This tractor is probably the biggest thing I've been thinking about right now. Me coming out here to work on saws is kind of like a way to blow off steam. So anyway, hey, I've been rambling here. Should probably let you go. So we'll catch you in the next one. Later.